quiz is garbage. No way. Ooh, this guy thinks he's Captain Knots. Thinks he's Captain Tying Knots. When everyone needs some knots tied, they go to him.
Rock and roll is very simple. Just 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is rock and roll. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Välkommen till livestreamen.
Hello. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out my fan so I don't blow it right on the microphone. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. Anything cool going on? I know it's Wicked's birthday today. Happy birthday. Hope you guys are all doing well. This should be fun. I've gotten another bunch of questions and they're all kind of similar. Or can be. So I'm looking forward to going over some of that stuff. But first, we gotta check out this this tone.
Visit sweetwater.com for the widest.
Oh, it's all every time I copy one, it brings up. Oh, it's a guitar. So I feel like I've seen that name. Of course, it freezes. I don't remember. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's take a peek. I'll just have it on there for a sec. Let you guys hear a bit of it. Oh, nice. Looks clean. Yeah, there's a lot of this kind of. What's the other company? Sorry, that's in Ukraine too. Is it Padalka? Paldalka? Something like that? Cool. I believe it's called Padalka. Let's see if I can find it. OD guitars. Those are insane too. I don't remember where he's from. These anyway, there's a ton of crazy ones from them. That's what it seems like my Instagram has been, just a ton of a ton of crazy just like custom guitars that all start at like $6,000. Yeah, that tone's cool. It's yeah, to get those sorts of tones, there's a lot of stuff that comes down to like the gates and stuff like that. It's cool. Like 1,200. That's not bad actually. I was gonna expect it to be a lot more than that. Yeah, and you know what? Actually, we can kind of talk about that sort of riffage with some of the stuff that I was gonna bring up today anyway. So. That's kind of cool. So yeah, check out the sponsors if you are in need of some stuff. But So I've gotten some questions about harmonic minor, minor, tonality, keys, like composing with them, what makes the tonality happen, like all this kind of stuff. So I kind of just want to spend a little bit of time chatting about that and giving some examples as we go through it. So while I'm kind of chatting, I'm just going to set up something for like just a guitar for just a drum beat for us, because I don't have anything pre-planned for right now. So the first thing just to bring up is what tonality is, and I want to bring this. I want to say this and make sure I'm pretty clear about this. So most of the time when people are thinking about a song they're playing or whatever, they think about the key it's in, but they don't necessarily think about the tonality. They sort of do, but maybe not as directly. So the key is essentially just the 7 notes that you're using, but tonality is which of those 7 notes that you are focusing on, and which note and chord and everything feels like home. You know, what do you want to resolve on? What would you end the song on? That sort of thing. When you have, if you're playing, things have a very specific pull. So if I were to play like, that last note is pulling us in there, right? So paying attention to the function of everything is very useful. So let's see how fast. Okay, so if we have tonality, we'll just talk about this. Our tonality, for example, could be, let's do a B. Okay. And actually, we're gonna do some cool stuff with this. So I'm just gonna put on a synth, I'm just gonna put a B note. Okay, so B could be our key and our tonality, but we're going to be referring to it as our tonality because we can change what scale or mode we are playing based off of that, right? So if we have a B note playing, I can play any scale that contains a B note in it. There's nothing that's going to clash, right? So if I wanted, let's get some, let me just put on some sort of lead tone. Okay, so if I were playing this, I could do, let's say, B minor. But that's just a B note. I could do pretty much whatever the fuck I want with that. So if I wanted, maybe I want to make that Lydian. Do B Byzantine. Right, so nothing's really like clashing there. If we were to have like a B minor chord, any of the scales that have minor could be fair game. So let's make this simple. Let's write a sort of a chuggy chug kind of riff on the low end. And then what we're going to do with that is we're going to write like a melody on the top and kind of play around with these tonalities. So, and like harmonic minor and all that kind of stuff, and kind of go into what makes them what. So let's see, how crazy do we want to make this? Well, first of all, so all I'm going to do right here is just on a B note, make a rhythm, and then we're going to go ahead and just kind of do whatever with it. And I'm going to make this a little faster. Do you guys have any thoughts of what you want in here? Especially the birthday boy, go for it. Let's see. get rid of that note in a second. I just want it to... Okay, so it's just Meshuggah style, right? Yeah. Okay, that'll work. So that little pattern is all just on a B note, and I'm going to take that. This is a little thing that's really useful if you don't do this, especially in the songwriting. Just copy and paste that onto your kick drum. So then when we have this, it might not be the right note at first, like right there. It'd be on my tom, you know, so this would be a little lame. Sounds kind of cool, but there. So now the bass drum is gonna match, and we put a especially because we just said the Meshuggahs, right? Meshuggah, we're gonna do it on the kick drum and do it in kind of a halftime feel. So that just, again, that means that our snare drum is on beat 3, and we're gonna have. That's pretty cool. Let me just tweak my bass. And actually at the end here I'm going to hold these notes. I think that's going to sound a little bit cooler. Yeah, that's an awesome song for sure. Okay, so right here, I am just going to be doing like a B power chord, essentially. And so the notes of that are B and F sharp. So any scale that has a B and an F sharp, oh yeah, we're going to get to the layers. So anything that has a B and an F sharp would be fair game in this situation. So let's go ahead and let's record the chuggy guitars. And then... And it's not, let me just do this real quick too. Let's make this cool. So that is just a B and an F sharp. So anything that has that in there is fair game, which means if we wanted to, we could use B minor. We could be B harmonic minor, which again, harmonic minor is the minor with a sharp 7. We could do Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian. Like I could make this really happy sounding. A little bit different, right? The if we wanted to go really, we could go darker for sure. minor with just like the blues scale, right? Let's lower these a little bit so we can hear more. So, as far as like the thirds and doing all that stuff, right? Like, if we wanted, let's make this, let's make a decision first. Do we want, because if we wanted to make this like, say, harmonic minor. Now here's the thing, let's only talk about, let's figure out what we want to do first. If we were to play B minor, let's just do it on one string. Right, so that's all just B minor. If you want to make it sound a little bit, you're saying octaves or thirds, right? So dissonant stuff. So for the dissonant stuff, probably do that as a texture layer. That in the background could be kind of cool. Yeah, so here, right there, when we fleshed it out more, as long as you don't have notes that are competing or clashing, like an F and an F sharp or something like that, you're pretty much fair game. And even everything's fair game. So in this situation, we just kind of fleshed it out with a B minor chord, and then put the harmonic minor. So this, we kind of established that harmonic minor sharp 7 in here at the end there, right? So we have... Cool. And you see like that, like a lot of this, make a melody with the octaves. So like if we had, here, let me put the lead on here. Let's just make this repeat a couple times so I can, to show those harmonies, right? If we were doing, let's do some kind of like, more melodic kind of thing. Let's see. Yeah, let's do something along those lines. Okay, so all I'm doing here is I'm just going to make a quick melody that we're going to harmonize. And so since we're doing B harmonic minor, I'm going to make my melody in that, and then I'll show the different harmonies you could do with it. I don't want to make this too crazy, so just for the sake of I started making more variation than I wanted. Let me do this again. I'm just gonna leave. So yeah, so if harmonic notch. No, harmonic minor is not a key. It's a tone. It's an alteration of a key. So you're in the key of, like in this case, let's say B minor, or you could just say we're in B harmonic minor. But in the key signature in the song, it's not going to tell you that it's harmonic minor. It's just going to say minor. So the that sharp 7 impacts everything, but it's not like there is no key signature of like harmonic minor at the beginning of a song. So what like as far as that sharp 7, it obviously for melodies you can do that all over. But it impacts the chords too. So that's why in harmonic minor you have an extra diminished chord, augmented chords come into play, minor, major, 7th chords, all that kind of stuff. So let's see. Okay, I did remember what I played. Okay, so you can bounce. The thing is, like I said, it's considered an alteration, so you can go back and forth between harmonic minor and natural minor whenever you want. So if you want the sharp 7, go for it. If you don't want the sharp 7, ignore it. So let me give you just a 4-note or like a really simple riff, kind of what we're doing. So if I'm playing in B harmonic or B minor, so if I did B harmonic minor, the sharp 7, like I said, I can bounce back and forth. The thing is, you have to pay, or you want to pay attention to, is what it does to what you're playing, whether it's in the chords or melodies or anything. That sharp 7 makes it a leading tone, so it feels like you want to move more, right? So if I had a riff, let's say like. Here's harmonic minor. So all I'm doing here is let's say I'm thinking of the scale degrees. I'm accenting on my first note of B minor, so B, then the 3rd, which is D, and then the 7, which is A. So here's the 7 from. Then if I did the sharp 7. It's got more tension. So as far as like balancing out the story you're telling in your song, you'd probably want to do natural minor first, right? So then add more of that towards the end there. You can play minor chord progressions and can you play minor chord progressions and solo in harmonic minor? So let's talk about that. If we had, the thing is though, it's like it goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. You just can't have things clash with each other, right? So if we had, let's just make a real quick, so I don't have to play it. Okay, so if we had like that B, let's say B minor. So if I have this B minor chord playing, and then we went to, let's go to the 7, right? Kind of like what we're doing here. So, oops. So if we went, so this would be the 1 to 7 in minor. I could not do the sharp 7 there because the sharp 7 is gonna clash. There's no A in this harmonic minor. So if I played, right? See that sounds kind of shitty, right? Because I'm playing the sharp 7 when the backing is not. You can't, like, anytime you're playing something, you want to make sure that it's all making sense, like, vertically, I guess is a good way of putting it. So every note that's playing at one point, right? If I were to do this, it'll sound just fine now. The same thing. Now we're in we've got that A sharp that makes it harmonic minor. If I were to play the natural minor now, it's going to sound like shit. Right? So you have to be, like I said, conscious of what's all working together at the same time, but you can switch back and forth all over the place. So if we had this, hey, thanks for the follow. Let's see. So if we had, okay, so this little melody that we had here, right? We're going into the harmonic minor. So if I were to play a third harmony, why is this so quiet? Say, so it, what was the first harmony you said? An octave? So if we did the octave, do that again. The hard part about doing this stuff is getting the vibratos and everything perfect in the harmony, right? Then if adds the tension with the sharp sound. Yeah, so like, let me get rid of this lead again. If we had, like, this is just a B power chord, so B and F sharp. So I could switch back and forth, and like try and, like, if you listen real quick, you'll hear I'll go back and forth between harmonic minor and natural minor, because it's all just one chord. Sorry, I gotta get rid of. So anyway, you can, as long as there's not like the clash, you're pretty much open to do anything. And beyond that, you can even extend it beyond, like we said, the tonality is specifically what note feels like home, right? So right here, it's a B. If I wanted to make this like, this sounds so stupid, But if we wanted like the happy breakdown or something. That hurts me a little bit. I don't, fuck that. Let's do Phrygian. So if we did the same, and here's like something you can, without getting too much into the theory side, if you played something, let's say let's say we did first, fifth, 3, 4, 2, 6. So we were in minor. If I play that in Phrygian, it already has a very different sound. And all I'm doing is playing the exact same thing, just moving it in there. So, harmony-wise, let's go back to that real quick. Here's the octave. I didn't feel like I was loud enough. Give me a second. Alright, so here's the octave. Here's the octave for real. So if I wanted to do a third in key, I would just play 3 notes higher. So in this case, instead of going, I'm gonna have, which sounds hilarious by itself, right? But that was an octave higher than it. So if I were to play this in the traditional third. That is pretty cool. It's just that one little, no, don't apologize. So if it's an F sharp power chord, okay, so F sharp power chord had the B, and I could hit the A sharp. Yeah, if it's all at once, right? So if we had like, and it's like, this brings up a good point about music, right? It really just boils down to tension and release. Right? There's some points when you're playing something and you want it to pull you somewhere. Sometimes you don't, right? And the reason I bring that up is certain chords and things like pull you in different ways, very different ways. And so when you have like, there's times when you, that might be the worst sound ever at times, but you might also, that dissonance, I think, sounds really nice. So it's all about the context, for sure. But yeah, so let's just say, like, here, let's do something. Let's do something different, real quick. I'm gonna show you on this because this might make it a little bit easier visually. So in the piano roll. Let's say, so we just have a B, just the B note playing. If I were to play, so here, if I just have this B minor chord, so that's a B minor, so I could play any, if things are arpeggiated, well, here, let me give you an example of what I mean more about the clash, okay? So here we have a B minor chord, so we have B, D, and F sharp, right? So we have a full triad. I could play, like, we don't have any A note, we don't have any C note, we don't have any E note, or any type of G note in this chord, right? So I have B, D, and F sharp. And let me actually just play this. So the B, you could technically, if that was the only thing that we had, you can do whatever you want with that. So let me just, let me make this really open so it doesn't get distracting. Okay, so we're gonna have just the B minor playing. I could not play something like B major, because if I played B major, there would be a D sharp in there, and we know that we need to have a D note, okay? So, but like I said, you could play other notes and move around with it. So if I were to play like B, you can hear me. Let's do this. So if we had the right, so if I were to hit, it doesn't clash, it's but this is a note that's not in our chord. So if I want to play this, so I can noodle around with a lot of different notes. I could hit it, there is no C, for example. So I could go, all we have is the B to the D note. There's no C in between there. So if I wanted to, I could go B, C, D, or B, C sharp, D. And honestly, like, you can definitely change it up, but most of the time you're probably going to keep it pretty consistent. So, like, as an example, there's a B minor chord being played. Tonality wise, I could play B minor. So B Dorian, B Phrygian, and then I could also do the harmonic minor variations of all of that. So I could do B harmonic minor. Right. Here's what I couldn't do though, is I could not play the B Lydian scale here, because that I would have this note happening then. Fuck that. Right? No one wants to listen to that. So, but similarly, if we had that D sharp here and we had that major chord, I could not do any of those minor tonalities. This sounds like garbage, right? But really, any of those that I want. All just the one chord. So if we were to go back to like a riff idea, right? Let's loop that a couple times. You can do multiple harmonies too, right? We could always have a third, then an octave, or both. So the we don't need that right now. Let's get rid of that. So again, if any of you guys have questions on this is kind of going all over the place, trying to explain it, but if you guys have questions on any of that, like harmonic minor tonality stuff, let me just throw it out there. But the thing is, like, you're gonna be playing like here. Let's just make up an individual note riff. Let's be weird with this, just for fun. I'm gonna do something that is in a polyrhythm, so we're gonna do some weird rhythms, but we're gonna go. Let's do 7/8. So we're gonna do. Oops. Let's see, so yeah, so we're just gonna say say something kind of common where we would have a repetitive rhythm. Okay, so we're gonna do this riff, let's just say in B again. Let's play around with our notes. So let's start with it in minor, because it's not a bad place to start. Yeah, right? All right, so with our rhythm, we have 16th notes. Let me just get this rhythm going. Oh, geez, that's annoying. Okay, so we're gonna have. Okay, let's make it a cooler rhythm for this. So what I'm gonna do is, let's say B minor. So I'm gonna go D, C sharp. So I'm just going like. Okay, so if we have. Let's see, and let's make this. Okay, so right here we only have 3 notes that are being played. B, C sharp, and D. So beyond that, you could really, it could be whatever. Let me get. Nice. So just recording the one for the left speaker now. Okay, so with this, there's a B, C sharp, and D, but anything else beyond that point, I could do whatever. So there's nothing in this that says harmonic minor or not, right? There is no sharp 7 or 7 in general. So we can fuck with it as we please. So if I wanted, let's see. Let's go to a super halftime. Just to make the rhythm feel weirder, why not? That's an interesting little repeat there. Alright, so this little... So anyway, we could do B minor, we could do B harmonic minor, and I'll jump back and forth, so... Kind of dig that groove. Here. You can see how easy it is to kind of throw this because we don't have the notes competing. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. That's all just one chord, right? And so if we wanted that, right there, right? The harmonic, back to normal. In there. But yeah, the idea of the tonality is just like the note that feels like home. And so if we had that B, just a B, it could be even crazier if we really wanted it. If we had just a B, any scale that contains a B note is fair game. So that just gets ridiculous. And, you know, if you're ever trying to find do just like a simple backing track real quick, you can do this in like Guitar Pro or something like that, but just get something that'll keep the rhythm for you. So where have we been doing? So here we just have the have that quarter notes, half notes, whatever you need, just so you can kind of get the feel of the what you're trying to do. So yeah, so as far as like if you were just, let's say we were taking this and we wanted to add like some sort of melody, because going back to the harmony ideas with this, if we were doing Let me get this. Let's see. Let's just say only playing octaves. Yeah, let's do something more simple. Here we go. Do Phrygian. Not like that one as much. But yeah, just to show you, so if we did a third. Actually, I think that's making sense. Let's take just another kind of concept with this. I'm gonna do another like weird Meshuggah polyrhythm kind of idea. Let's do if anyone wants one specific, just call it out. I'm gonna do something with 4. Let's say like let's do 5/4. And all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pick my key or my tonality, right? So let's say we want, let's go for nope. 1, 2. Do you want to do 5? Let's do it. So we can do this. I don't know what. This is gonna be strange, but that's cool. Okay. So yeah, I just picked right here B Phrygian. So I just mapped out what oh, melodic minor. Dun dun dun. Let me play them for you once. Let me get this real quick. Okay, so that's a good question. So when you have, there are many scales, right? Natural minor, let's just call so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so we'll use that as our foundation minor scale. We're talking about harmonic minor. That means the 7th note is 1 higher. So melodic minor is weird AF. So melodic minor means, well, it's used in a lot of different contexts, but traditionally, as you ascend the scale, you are playing melodic minor, which is a sharp 6 and sharp 7. You could also think of it as a minor. Let's just talk about that actually, because it's going to get a little confusing if I don't. Melodic minor is a minor scale with a sharp 6 and 7, or a major scale with a flat 3, whatever is easier for you to think about. But let's just keep it all compared to minor. So natural minor, sharp to 7 for harmonic minor, sharp to 6 and 7 for melodic minor. Now the fucking weird thing is, traditionally, as you ascend, you do one, and you descend, you do the other. You do back to natural. So you would go 1, 2. It's kind of strange. I mean, when people use it more modern, when people use it and they're modern, they will, I guess I should probably do this so you can see it better, right? People using it in a more modern situation, they don't really care. But, yeah, it's weird. Much modern, such wow indeed. Melodic, I mean, honestly, I don't use melodic minor too frequently. It can be cool, but it's also, like, based on what I like. Yeah, no problem. But based on what I like the darker shit. Here, let's just rip off my sugar, right? Alright, so let's get our drum going real quick. Alright, let's just forget about the weird one for a sec. The tonality, that's it's everything. It could be minor, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, any of the modes. It's constantly changing. The stuff that you like is all over the place. So it would be like, it's not just one. It's like in the solo, for example, that you've been playing around with, it's changing key, right? So it starts off with the that's one tonality, and then you hear it switch to the other tonality. So yeah, tone is specific. Like tonality is what note you are focusing on and what scales and modes you are building from that note. You can think about it like this, right? So in a key, you have 7 notes. This is a good analogy, I think. So in you've got your key, and you have 7 notes. So we're gonna compare that to your house. Okay, so you've got your house, and you have, like, let's say 7 rooms. The purpose of those different rooms, each room serves a different function, right? Like, hopefully you're not shitting in your kitchen and cooking in the tub or something like that, right? I mean, maybe you can get creative, I don't know. But the different rooms serve a different function, right? So when you're in the key being the house, the overarching, like, the big theme, The tonality is specifically what each of the rooms are doing. So you do. So yeah, so if you have you could be in the key of, like here, let me give you an example real quick. These are all going to be in the key of C major. Okay? In the key of C major, we could play something with the tonality of C major. C-I-O, right? So I can't talk, but C major. Right? So that's in the key of C major. Now I could also do something, same key, but we're going to change it up and we're going to do the key of C major, tonality of D Dorian. Right? Very different feel. Now we're going to be in the key again of C major, but we're going to be focusing on the tonality of E, which in this case would mean we're playing in Phrygian. Right? That's way darker than what we started with. There any note? No, that's not a dumb question. There just might be a little bit of a blind spot with something. There is any note and any minor. So you could have A minor, B minor, C sharp minor, C. Hypothetically, it keeps going for infinity too. So you could have like G quadruple sharp, but nobody's going to do that because like that's the same thing as a B note. But yeah, there's totally C minor. There's everything, and then minor. There's A minor, A sharp minor, or B flat minor, or harmonic minor versions of that. Like you, and the thing is, your tuning of your guitar has nothing to do. I shouldn't say nothing. There might be certain things that are easier, but the key that you're playing in or the tonality has nothing to do with your tuning. So, like with what I was doing here, key of C major, tonality of C major. The same thing as if I did Lydian. Right, then mixed Lydian, kind of focusing on a more bluesy sound. Then we have a key of C. This actually might make a little bit more sense too. You have what are called relative keys. So C major and A minor are the same notes, but it's a different focus, like what you're starting on, essentially. I guess you could think of it as. So if I were to play the same progression and I went... Oh, not that, sorry. If I started with a minor chord, changes it completely. So, yeah, the thing I was gonna say, like a lot of times what people do is they're like, oh, okay, I'm on my 7th string, I'm in standard tuning, I need to play in the key of B minor or a tonality of B. That's not the case. You could do like here, let's say, let me just make I'm gonna make a little drum groove that I can improvise something with. That's fine. That'll do. So if we had this. So yeah, so I could be playing in this. I could, like I said, the tuning doesn't matter. So I could do, like, say you said C minor. I could, I'll make something up in C minor right now. So. There's something weird going on. there a compressor on here somewhere? Did you hear how weird that sounded? Like, got I don't know what that noise was. I didn't like it. But yeah, so like if we wanted to do something in C minor, I don't know. So here, if we had C minor, you would write out, you could, any of those 7 notes, C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, and then B flat, and then C. And I could do whatever I want with those notes. So. Kind of fun. I could play that same thing in any key I want. Pretty cool. And as far as like, depending on what you want, like if you wanted one of the rare occasions you might want to focus on like the Locrian mode, would be as if you wanted like some really dissonant shit, right? Like if you wanted to play like some sort of breakdown kind of thing, right? Where you have there's something fucky about a boot. I don't know what it is. So how does the scale thing work? Do you pick a shape? So if I'm understanding what you're asking, the scale thing work for this. So whatever you're starting on, everything else will be related to it for that time. So like things change quite frequently, but let's just talk about like say everything's in the same tonality right now. What you would like if we were in like so Dorian, let's say. So if I were focusing on D Dorian and I had Dorian starting right on this 3rd fret on the D. All the other modes that I could use are fair game, but so it would be like D Dorian, which then D Dorian is the same thing as C major and E Phrygian and F Lydian, G Mixolydian, A minor, B Locrian. Those are all the same set of notes. It's just a different focus where we're starting. So as long as those connect, it's totally fair game, right? So we could have, you know, if we wanted, like in the case I was saying, like if we wanted something really dissonant, maybe Locrian, because it starts with a diminished chord, I could have that. That's basically just the. It's a weird scale to use, but the. Let me see, make sure I didn't miss something on there. You pick. So and they all connect. They're in the same. Like we were saying, like using the house as the analogy. So it's the same. Big picture concept. So. The key of C major. Like here, this is in C major right now. This is good. Right, you can get some really dark sounds out of that just by focusing on a different note. And here, even if we just had, let me just do this. Let's make this really open. So just Okay, so if you wanted to play around with this, I would probably suggest. I mean, I know most of you guys that watch this are probably into minor tonalities more, so let's just do that. So let's say B minor. So write out what those 7 notes are, and you can use them in any order, but you can focus on, like, we could do B minor, we could do B Phrygian, and it's gonna make a big difference. Because if I went, let me think of this. Let's say I go 1, 3, 5, 2. Okay, I'm talking about scale degrees. So 1, the first note, the 3rd note, the 5th note, and the 2nd note. Okay, so if I did this with a minor chord, it's going to feel very different. So here, let's do a riff with it. Okay, now let's do it with a diminished chord. Alright, I could do it with a major. Now it's the same tonality as in terms of like a note, like the starting point. So just a B. Do B minor. B diminished. Which would be like the minor could be, if I hit those notes, it could be Dorian or minor. If I hit flat, it could be Phrygian. We can do. It's kind of wild how many possibilities there are, isn't it? So like right here, let me solo over this for a second to kind of demo that. There's only 3 notes that we're playing, so as long as it doesn't, but we're hitting a B, a C sharp, and a D in this case. So if I hit anything with this, so that could be B minor, and you'll hear that some of them are almost more like anticipated, like you just kind of know what it's supposed to sound like, but yeah, it could do B minor, B Phrygian. B Phrygian could not, actually would not work, right? Because of that, I misspoke. But that one wouldn't work because of the flat 2. But we could do Dorian. Let's keep it to Dorian and minor. Here's minor. Cool. Actually, this would be like if I were playing around with this for songwriting, I would change this up a lot. So I would probably do like actually, let me just you know, like just then it comes in, right? Anywho, obviously we've kind of been all over the place getting some of those questions answered, but let me see if I'm forgetting. I don't have too much time left before we're going to call it a night. But hopefully that tonality versus key thing is making a little bit more sense. And I think the other thing too is just like kind of going for it, right? Like this is what I was going to show you with the this part before I got distracted. Okay, so if I'm gonna be, let's say, playing like E note, let's say, I could do E minor. Let's see, so and it's music, so you can do whatever the fuck you want with that if you want to go out of crazy order, but just using the minor notes. Here's harmonic. Right, you could do I think the big thing is to connect your ear to it and work on especially knowing you guys, the connecting your brain to your fingertips is huge. And the more you can do that with like doing ear training and intervals and stuff like that all helps. But just getting familiar with what the modes feel like where you have but yeah, never I think it's good to just good not to limit yourself in regards to asking like questions like can you do this, and just like yes you can, but doing it in the context that you want. I think really, as long as for 95% of people, as long as you don't have notes competing with each other, so like an A and an A sharp or an A and an A flat or something like that, like different versions of the same note, or like half steps that aren't supposed to be like. But there are even ways of making that sound good, right? Sounds pretty good in that context. Alright, so if we were doing this one again, just that B power chord. Oh, and going back to that, we had talked about the other minors, like, if you're looking for something cool to play around with, I think choosing some notes and limiting yourself to those is great. But like I was gonna say, like you can have, we were talking about the key and the tonalities having 7 notes. You can choose smaller than that too, for sure. So if you wanted to, like, you've heard me on the streams talk about Hirojashi and Kumoi and other things like that. Those are just like Japanese pentatonic scales where there's only 5 notes, but instead of what we're used to, it's more. Right? So if we have, why is this clipping? You could take the first, second, third, 6th, and 7th. But anyway, you can make like smaller versions of that as long as the notes aren't clashing with each other, right? This is all just B. Get real fucking weird with that, so B isn't really like. There's a way of making every single one of those notes actually work, which is kind of insane. But you wanted to think about what's practical for what you're looking for, right? Chances are, if you're doing something like this, you would want want something kind of maybe dissonant, maybe some of these are getting too loud. Here's the one through. Choose 1 5. Yeah, so you could do you don't even have to choose the progression or anything like that. You can literally, if you're just talking about the melody and like scale degrees and stuff like that. So would you say 1 5 2 3? Okay. So if we have, I could start with that, right? And if I take that one little idea, I could do that as a riff. That could build into something, that's for sure. Right? But just taking that melody, let's put this back over here. Yeah, we could do that as like a... So here, right there, that's actually kind of cool. It's kind of doomy. That was the 1 5 2 3 in B minor. So if I do that. I could do that in let's see, 1 5 2 3 in fifth mode of harmonic minor. So then instead we're gonna have, instead of these notes, we are now gonna have be kind of wild. Anything if you wanted to why is this? If you wanted to make a super happy version, the B. What is that? It's like an old. Is that like NBC or something like that? It's been forever since I've watched TV. But anyway, you don't even have to play it, right? You could program, you know. Let's just make up a weird, let's say we went. Alright, so here I just did it in minor. So even just putting just those notes. Make them chords. Yeah, these and the cool thing is if you have it as a melody and not as a chord thing, you can do a lot of other stuff with it. So let me do this. How fast is this again? Let's do this. Oh, it would help if I hit the right one to record. sec. Sorry, my bad. What I do want though is this. So I'm gonna do the melody first. Okay, so say that melody keeps playing. Anyway, I'm just kind of pulling shit out of my ass, but the yeah, do it as a riff, do it as whatever you want. But the thing is, like, you really just have like in this case, we can always talk about ways of breaking the rules and getting out of key and stuff. But if you want to understand how it works in the tonality that you're in, so just pick 7 notes, pick a tonality, and work on putting those in any order you want. If you things like repetition help. You know, a lot of times people try and cram too much variation and stuff just because they think it's going to be more interesting. And it might be a little bit, but you generally are looking to, you know, have something that unifies everything. Right? So if I did right, you can just kind of match with the, match techniques. So in that case, those like trills. It just kind of makes it work together. If I did dyads. Yeah, I got you. I think the big thing is don't limit, like, it's easy to kind of limit yourself and think like, well, that you can't do it or maybe not yet, and just any way you can get the idea out. But really, it's just 7 notes, and you put them in. You can put them in any order, and you don't have to play it. That's the big thing, right? Because if I just go like this, I'm gonna write a crazy. Here, let's do another one just real quick before I gotta get going. Let's do 8th notes. I'm gonna do, I don't know. I'm gonna do it up higher so you can hear the notes a little bit more, but we're gonna stick to the key of B Phrygian, let's say. So I'm just doing B, C, D, E. What are we doing? F sharp. So it's basically the key of E minor. So we're gonna go B, C, B, C. Let's do. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You do that rhythm. So all I did here, just picked 7. Here, let me look at your example, what you just said. 2, 7, 4, 3. Yep, it would be fine. And if you think about it, let's do the 2, 7. Let me do exactly what you just said. And you could add more numbers, you could do less. But if we did the scale degrees and we did the second, holy shit, drop F. There we go. That's just for you, man. Let's see. Holy shit, that's low. Let me do this higher and then we'll make it real. Make it real heavy. Okay, so 2 set. So F sharp, D. There's a 2, 7. So in this case, so those notes. God damn you. Those notes. And let me just get my guitar to match this because it'll be kind of cool. We'll drop it down. All right. All right, so here's the 2743. A solo. And that's just your starting point. So the thing is, like, don't feel like it has to be stuck with this. This is just one way of kind of kicking things off, right? And so if you do what you just did, let me get this out of not detuned, but that could be your start. Anyway, hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. The tonality thing is huge. A lot of times people just stop with thinking about major and minor, and it's nice to bring it a little bit further than that, get more control over it all. So anyway, Senor Wicked, I hope you have a wonderful birthday. Rest of your birthday, that is, and everyone else that's jumped in and stuff. Hope I answered some of your questions. It's kind of hard getting to everyone, so I've got a big list going. So if you do have questions on any music stuff, you can always just ask, and if I can't get to it, I will get to you at some point, on the streams. But I try and answer as much as I can, because that's the whole reason I started this, was to help you guys out with the process and all that. So yeah, much love, guys. Let's see. Anyone doing anything? Are you doing anything cool for your birthday, or are you just kind of chilling? Let's go over to this guy. Anyway, man, hope your birthday is great. And let's go check this. Let's go check it out.